All right, family, it's Tasha, MAMABEAR Prepping. You already know what time it is. Get your drink, pull up, let's talk about it. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel where we just talk about emergency preparedness. We really talk about what me and my family do, and then hopefully that will help you spark some ideas and different things you can do for you and yours. Now today, let's see. So I've been seeing across my news feeds for a couple weeks now about a antifungal disease, basically a fungus, bacterial, nasty virus that's going around that has had increased numbers. Now, it's called Candida auris. Probably said that wrong. I'll try to remember to put it on the screen, you guys. And when I first saw this, you know, I obviously like to track anything infectious, anything to do with virus, bacteria, infections, anything, right? And I read through the articles that had come through my feed, those first few that had come through my feed, and basically it's a fungus that's attacking and is found in hospitals and nursing homes and in the setting and environment of healthcare, right? And obviously, like a lot of things, if you are battling something already, then you are at risk, right? A healthy person, this does not attack healthy people. Healthy people do not have anything to be concerned with. However, a lot of folks are not healthy. A lot of us have some sort of underlying something happening going on with our bodies. And so I don't necessarily just like chopping stuff up, especially diseases and things that change into a box and just say, oh, we don't have to worry about that. I'm not in a nursing home. I'm not in the hospital. You know, I'm not on a feeding tube and all these different things that people are using in these places, and the stuff's getting infected. They're getting infected. You know, I don't have to worry about it, so I'm not going to worry about it, right? I'm not going to talk about it. So I originally read it, and basically what I got from those original articles was that the concern of why CDC was all of a sudden telling us about this is because in the last few years, it has predominantly increased, meaning every year from like 2016, the numbers have significantly gone up. And then to include in the last, let's say 3 years since the pandemic, the numbers have doubled in the next year. And then the next year they triple, right? And, you know, they don't even have, I think, true numbers for 2023. But it's like 7,000 cases in 22, which is like triple what they normally have. So is this something that is normal, that is known? Sure. But the concern is that the numbers are jumping significantly. And it has like a 30 to 60% death rate, if you will. But again, there's no cause for panic because they're like, well, if you're healthy, you're fine. It's just this small group of people that may be in a hospital setting, in a nursing setting, in some sort of healthcare setting. And those are the people that need to be worried about this. I think that like anything, it's important. What I find concerning now is I read those articles a couple weeks ago, and probably every couple days, I've seen another one pop up. Maybe a few days ago, I started seeing them pop up more. I probably had like 3 or 4 feeds that popped up all at once the same day, right behind each other, right? Just my phone just kept getting these notifications from the different news sources that I follow, and it just kept popping up, the same information. And, you know, back in, I think, if you talk about what states, I think it was 2019 to 21, 17 states reported this that had never seen it before, that have never gone and treated it, found it, whatever. And so this is a fairly new thing. And now you have like 28 states that this thing is in. Several states are much more inundated with it. New York, California being a couple of those. But a recent article does show several states by color of how they're doing. To be honest, the whole country is some sort of color except up by me, like Washington, Idaho, Montana, like all in that area seems to be kind of just no color. But, you know, California, Nevada, I mean, Texas, all the southern states, all of them have some sort of color depending on how many cases, right? Now, and then folks started sending me information too. Have you seen this? What's going on with this? What is this? Should we be concerned? I think you should always be concerned. I think that, you know, my thing is you're always watching. You're always paying attention. It's just like I saw it a few weeks ago and I didn't panic. I didn't freak out. I didn't run to make a video like freak out, freak out. I just noticed it and I took note of it. I read through a few articles at the time. And I said, okay, we'll just kind of keep an eye on this. And now I'm being inundated with, these articles popping up the last few days. Just boom, boom, boom. They want us to know. Now, CDC has never been like a major, here you go, here's the information, right? They've obviously been tracking this for years, okay? The last decade, let's say, they've been tracking this. And, well, almost a decade. And it's crazy because we're just now hearing about it. And we're just now hearing about it because these numbers are really jumping. They're really getting jumped. And so it's not cause for concern like, oh, there's all these people dying. There's thousands of people dying. But it's a concern because what is making these numbers jump? What is making this fungus grow? What is making this? And it's resistant. Like antifungal medicines, that's the problem too with this particular thing that's happening is, I guess the best medicines that they have for this type of thing are resistant. They're not working. And so that's really the problem is they have this thing that seems to be growing and expanding and we're getting more cases and we don't really have anything that's fighting it. And so again, medicine, diseases, we can't always understand how those things work. They grow, they develop, they change. And so it's alarming that these last few years, all of a sudden, we have huge numbers. And that could be from COVID. That could be from the vaccine. That could be from a lot of different things. But it is something that you should be at least aware that is happening, at least have heard the name and understand it. So when you hear it again in the news or you see these articles pop out, you're like, okay. And you can kind of just skim it now and just see, is there any changes? Is there anything major that I need to be concerned with in regards to this? Another thing is, the eye infection thing that I talked about, when it first happened, they have been tracking that since like last year. And we had just found out about it in February. And come to find out, you have a couple more people have died since I did my videos. 2 more people have died. And several people have had eyeballs actually removed. When I did my video, there was no reports of eyeballs actually being removed. And so now there's reports of several people having to have 1 or 2 eyeballs actually removed from their bodies. That's crazy. Not that, oh, you're just going to go blind, because I had reported there was deaths and there was blindness happening. That's a serious thing when it's not just blindness. Hey, you can't see anymore. No, it's so detrimental and could damage other parts of your body that we have to actually remove that body. We need to disconnect it from your body. And so that's the update with that one, right? So again, these aren't things to like lose sleep over and freak out and you're walking around the house in a biosuit, right? But it is, something to be concerned and just know is happening, right? Understand what it is. That way, when you hear things, you're not freaking out like, what is this? I never heard of this, yada, 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 right? And you can still be concerned. Like these eye drops is still a concern. They did a huge recall, but look at this. There's still either people that didn't get the recall, didn't get the notice and are still using it, or it's people that used it and it has detrimental long-term effects. It's not just maybe they stopped using it, but the damage was already done. The damage was already started, and it's a longer process as far as figuring out, their eyes, figuring out their bodies, like actually, being affected by the outcome of using it, of using the product, right? So these things are important. Nothing to lose sleep over, but you need to just be making sure that you are paying attention and you are understanding what's going on. And if you read through these and you get some numbers, you kind of see how your state's doing or kind of see some overall numbers. And this is how you stay ahead of things so that when things start to pop off, you're well aware. Like COVID, we were well aware of COVID and that there was something going on early, very, very early, right? way earlier than the news was talking about it, because channels were talking about this thing that was happening, right, in these other countries. In China, they were talking about this stuff before the new year, and so people were already kind of tracking stuff. And so this is no different. That's just why we track stuff. We kind of pay attention to what's going on. You pay attention to the of any kind of major increases. You see a state explode. You see these numbers explode. You see any kind of change as far as, okay, well, healthy people now are a problem, or it's whatever is happening, you're kind of on game already, and then you can adjust fire from there, right? I think it's important to get your medicines, think about the things that you would have to treat, think about holistic stuff. Obviously, this particular thing is resistant to antifungal stuff, but having antifungal stuff, having something more than nothing, is that helpful at all? I do not know, right? But we take these things, we figure out how can we prepare against them, how can we get ready, and sometimes that's just the knowledge of just seeing what's happening, understanding what's happening, and you're just kind of on the ready if it goes left, okay? So this is just a short type of video just to kind of update you on what's going on, and then also just kind of update you on the eye thing, right? The eye infection, the bacteria. But I hope you guys are well. I hope you're having a beautiful week, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Take care. Bye.